Good afternoon and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, more commonly known as CACRAO, and our partner StriveScan. Thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. If you ask questions that are not answered by the end of the session, we will be sending a transcript of all questions to the presenters so that they can reach out to you one-on-one. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out our full schedule of events at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, CACRAO.org. I'd like to turn it now over to our presenters. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. How are we doing? Hope we're doing okay. My name is Jordan. I am the North Carolina and South Carolina representative for your area. I also have two colleagues here that are here to help me. They're incredible colleagues, so I'm excited to introduce them. Or actually, I'll let them introduce themselves here. But I am a Penn State alum, so that is my fun fact for you all about Penn State, and I'm excited to chat with you. I'm going to turn it over to Ben to let him introduce himself.
Thanks for that, Jordan. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Ben Carr. I am an admissions representative for Penn State University, but I specifically represent the Schreier Honors College at Penn State. So I'm excited to share a little bit of information with you this afternoon. So just a quick overview, the Honors College is really an opportunity for our high achieving students at Penn State to set themselves apart. So there are some additional academic requirements you will have to meet. The two big ones are taking additional honors credits. The most direct way to earn those credits is through taking honors courses, which are capped at 24 students and taught by tenured faculty, meaning some of the best teachers we have at our university are the ones teaching those classes. And then also you will have to complete a research thesis upon graduation. But there are some outstanding benefits associated with the Honors College. Including a $5,000 annual scholarship. We guarantee honors housing for all 4 years. We provide increased funding for opportunities such as internships, research, and study abroad. We have our own career center. And just to give all of you a little bit of context, we only have about 1,800 scholars university-wide. And speaking of that, you're going to learn a little bit more about our campus system today. You can be a scholar at any one of our locations. So I think it's very important to emphasize that fact. And actually 7 of our campuses, you can spend all 4 years and graduate from the Honors College. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the application process before we turn it over to James. But we are on the Common application, the Coalition application, and the My Penn State application. There are some additional supplemental questions you will have to answer on the Schreier Honors College application. So there's 5 short answer, 3 long essay responses. You also have to submit 2 letters of recommendation, and we do an academic review. However, there is no minimum GPA to apply, but typically most of our applicants are from the top 5 to 10% of their graduating class. And then I do want to put in a quick plug finally about Scholars Day coming up next Tuesday evening. We have 2 question and answer sessions, one at 3 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock. So if you register, you can attend that. There'll be a live panel of current scholars, alumni, and faculty. And you can ask questions to them in real time. But prior to that, if you register, we will send you a pre-recorded video where we give you a comprehensive overview of both the Honors College and the application process. Actually, we just closed the registration today, but if you email me at bcar@psu.edu, I would be happy to register you. So thank you so much for your time, and I guess we'll turn it over to James to let him introduce himself.
Awesome. Thank you, Ben, and thank you, Jordan. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. My name is James McCarty. I, just like Jordan and Ben, represent Penn State University as a whole, but specifically, I'm based out of our Berks campus location. And in a little bit, when Jordan jumps into the presentation, it'll make much more sense as to what that means. But I, like my colleagues, am also a very proud Penn State alum, a 2-time Penn State grad. I teach a class at Penn State each semester. Every other year, I help to take students abroad to Germany. So I would say Penn State, my life revolves around this institution, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So enough about me. I'm going to pass things over to Jordan, and feel free to submit those questions through the Q&A while she presents, and we'll be happy to jump in. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. These are two amazing colleagues that I have here. So lots of questions that you have. Feel free to drop those in the Q&A and we'll answer those as soon as we can. But let's jump into about Penn State. Hopefully y'all can see the presentation. If not, this will be super awkward, but I'm just going to keep rolling. If you can't see the presentation, awesome. We are a top 1% world-class university here at Penn State. So what this means for you all is we are ranked in the top 50th of world-class universities. That is out of 18,000 universities globally, which is pretty awesome. So when you come to Penn State, you would be getting an awesome academic education, but you're also very well supported and you have lots of different resources on campus for you to be successful. That's what makes a world-class university, is not just the awesome academics, but also the opportunities available for students to be successful. Speaking of success, right below that, you'll notice the graduation rate there. We graduate about 85% of our students. That is 25% above the national average. And then to the right of that, you'll notice our retention rate is about 93%, which is a little over 13% above the national average, which this means that students that are coming in for their first year, 93% of them will continue and stay for their second year. So that tells us that not only are students successful at Penn State, but they're also enjoying their time here at Penn State, which is what we really want you all to have, is enjoying your time and then also success at Penn State. We do have opportunities for you in undergraduate research. I know we talked a little bit about being a research, maybe we didn't, maybe I talked about it earlier to myself, but we are a Research One institution. So we do have opportunities for you to get involved in undergraduate research. This could mean being in a laboratory, or it could mean just going out and doing focus groups, doing field work, lots of different opportunities for you to develop those skills and develop those leadership skills as well. All right, so James did mention this about the 20 unique campuses at Penn State. There are so many different opportunities for you, and I'm going to show you a map of Pennsylvania. I actually did a panel the other day where they actually showed where Penn State and Pennsylvania was on the map compared to the Carolinas. So that was nice to see, but unfortunately I don't have that map here. So this is a map of Pennsylvania, those of you that didn't know. We have 20 different campuses across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So we have some on our eastern side of Pennsylvania. We also have some on the more western side, and then some sporadically throughout the center. The difference between these campuses is their size and then their location, obviously. All of our campuses offer the same education. You get a Penn State University degree, no matter what campus you attend. It's just a matter of which campus you prefer. So lots of our campuses have lots of things to offer, and I know James can talk entirely about his campus and what they have to offer there, and I'll turn to him later on in our Q&A session, but lots of things to offer here. And if you are kind of like wavering on, I don't really know if I want a big campus or a small campus, you have the opportunity to choose either. So we have something that's called the 2+2 plan, where you could spend 2 years at any campus of your choosing and then complete your degree the following 2 years. So it kind of depends on how you want to customize your education, but there's opportunities for you to do that as well. Or you could spend all 4 years at a campus. It is completely up to you. You just might want to note whatever major you're interested in. Not all of our campuses offer all majors. So you would need to kind of peek and see what majors are offered at the campus that you're interested in. On the map here, you'll notice the little monopoly houses. So the red and nope, just the red. The red monopoly houses are they have on-campus housing, and they guarantee and require you to live on campus for your first year. All of the other ones that have the yellow monopoly houses, they have on-campus housing available, but you do not have to live there for your first year. You can opt out of living there for your first year. All right, so if that wasn't enough opportunities for you, we have 275 more opportunities available to select your major. So all of these majors are housed in our academic colleges, so specific to what they're related to. So if you like engineering, mechanical engineering, that would be in our College of Engineering. So you'd be looking specifically in that college. So when you apply to Penn State, you will actually be applying into a college and campus specifically. So keeping that in mind, if you don't know what you want to do, no worries. I still don't know what I want to do, and I already graduated, so it's okay. We have a division of undergraduate studies for you to kind of explore and decide what you are interested in throughout your first 2 years. And then at the end of your sophomore year, you will declare your major. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you're not going to be in the classroom 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have 1,200 different clubs and activities for you to get involved in on our campuses. So these range from club sports to intramural sports, arts and theater. We also have opportunities for you to get involved in dance crews, philanthropic events. The picture in the background here is our Penn State Dance Marathon. All of our campuses are involved in this, and they basically celebrate a year-long effort of raising money for pediatric cancer. So it's pretty nice. I don't do it justice just talking about it. Y'all can look up videos on YouTube. But they raise about $10 million each year, which is pretty incredible. And they do it they celebrate it by doing a 46-hour no sitting, no sleeping dance marathon. Yes, 700 dancers will not sit or sleep for 46 hours. It's pretty remarkable. Penn State fosters diversity and inclusion. This is an ongoing initiative at Penn State. We have actually implemented this in our strategic plan. So there's lots of opportunities for faculty members, staff members, and students to get involved in this initiative. This is ongoing, as you all know, so you could be a part of any new and exciting events happening on campus. I'm almost done here. All right. 4 things that we need from you for the Penn State application. We will need your online general admissions application. That can be through the Common App, the Coalition app, again, through our Penn State website is awesome as well. Once you submit that online application, it will prompt you to create a My Penn State profile. So check your emails, make sure you're checking those emails, and you will create that My Penn State profile. It will be your home base for all things Penn State. Your checklist will be there. You'll have your decision posted there as well. This will also be where you fill out your self-reported academic record. Penn State is no longer accepting transcripts upon the initial review, so you will actually report your 9th through 11th grade grades to us, and then your 12th grade schedule. The Common App and the Coalition app do have a version of this. Penn State is not accepting that version, so you will need to do that extra step. I promise you it's super easy. We've tried to lay it out as simple as possible for you all, but you will need to fill it out through the My Penn State profile. I saved the best for last here because Penn State did decide to go test optional this year. Yay, celebrate. So if you would like to submit your test scores, you can, but you do not have to. It is completely an option. What we always direct students to look at next would be our middle 50%. So if you're not really sure, should I submit my test scores? Should I not submit my test scores? This is a great place to look. These are our middle 50% of our current first year students. So students that were in your shoes, maybe last year, this is where they fell as far as their GPA, SAT, ACT scores. University Park is right at the top here, and all of our other campuses range at the bottom. So you get a little bit of a difference here to see where you would fall as far as your campus of choosing. If you don't see yourself within these numbers, don't worry. These numbers change year to year. And there's also 25% of students below these numbers, 25% of students above these numbers. So you might just need to be a little more flexible with those choices. But if you notice here, if your SAT, ACT scores do reflect here, that might be a good indicator. Maybe you do want to submit your test scores to us. But if your SAT, ACT scores do not reflect here, maybe you don't want to submit them. Maybe you want us to fully review your GPA and high school record in that realm. So definitely gives you a good estimate. I see a question here. Is the GPA listed weighted or unweighted? Those are weighted. Okay, good question. Thank you. And I clicked out of it, so now I can't. There we go. Yay. So here is our timeline for our application. So for those of you seniors, we did extend our early action deadline to November 15th. So keeping that in mind, if you are a senior, your early action deadline is November 15th. That leaves a little bit of room for those of you taking those October SAT, ACTs. If you do apply by early action, you will receive a decision by December 24th. Okay? Plenty of time. You don't have to accept your offer until May 1st. So you can kind of discuss with your family and see what's right for you all. Top bar there, you will notice our FAFSA timeline. So that is our free application for federal student aid. So you'll be looking at that specifically to apply for merit and need-based scholarships that way. So you'll be looking, December 1st is our recommended deadline for Penn State. and you would get your aid package by February. All right, so looking at the cost of tuition for a non-Pennsylvania resident, Penn State University Park is on the left-hand side, and then all of our other campuses range on the right-hand side. So this is a sticker price, so it basically is just an estimate. If you wanted to actually find your actual tuition, you would look at tuition.psu.edu. That'll give you a better indicator here, but a great chance to look at the investment here. Sometimes students will choose some of our other campuses just strictly because it saves them a little bit of money. You receive the same education, but it does save them a little bit of money when they do choose a Commonwealth campus. I keep it here for about 5 more seconds so y'all can take pictures. 4, 3, 2, 1, next slide. Awesome. So talking about return on investment. So what is unique to Penn State? What makes us special? What makes us awesome? I myself am an alum, and my colleagues here are alumni as well. We are the largest living alumni network in the entire world. So you jump into this network the second you become a Penn Stater, which is pretty awesome. Once you accept your application to Penn State, pretty much you have a whole big family that's here behind you and excited to invite you into the family. So it's definitely really nice for career opportunities as well. If you're looking to get into different realms of the career employment business, there's lots of different alumni that are available and wanting to help other Penn Staters. So it's really, really nice for you all to get involved in the largest alumni network in the world. So not just because of the career opportunities, but also because of the family feel. I know my colleagues can say the same thing when we're in hotels, restaurants, when we're in airports by ourselves, it gets pretty lonely. We will always, 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 if we're wearing a Penn State shirt, have someone come up to us and say like, oh my gosh, I went to Penn State. My sister went to Penn State. Let's talk. I want to hear your experience. I know I see some of them smiling here. So that's awesome that they get that experience as well. So I'm going to stop talking here and I am going to turn it to you all to ask your questions in the Q&A box. I know we've been answering a little bit of questions here as well. So we saw a couple of these questions. I'm going to turn it over to James here. James, do you mind telling us a little bit about your campus?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you so much, Jordan. If you remember back to the slide that Jordan showed, the map of Pennsylvania, the campus that I'm located at, Penn State Berks, we are just about an hour and a half north of the city of Philadelphia. Berks is one of the medium-sized campuses. So in terms of size, University Park is our one large campus location. There are 5 medium-sized campuses that range from about 5,000 students to the smallest being around 3,000, and then 14 small campuses that range from around 1,500 students to our smallest campus, just smaller than 500 students total. So, as Jordan said, no matter what you're looking for in your college career, we've got you covered at Penn State. Berks is one of those medium-sized options. We have about 2,600 students total. Penn State Berks as a location is more suburban in setting. We're about 20 minutes outside of the city of Reading. So again, campus is more suburban. We have 25 bachelor's degrees that you can start and finish at the Berks campus. Some unique research opportunities specifically at our location. We have a cadaver lab for our undergraduate students. So anybody interested in anything medical, allied health, it really poses a unique opportunity for you. And there is a Penn State University owned. Sorry, I was getting a little click happy with my hands there. Sorry about that. Hit the mute button. There's a Penn State hospital right in our campus's backyard that is university owned, which is really exciting and poses a lot of partnerships. We also have a fluid dynamics or fluid discovery engineering lab, which is very unique for our campus as well. Besides that, we also offer degrees that you'll see across the system like business, psychology, communications. There's a lot of unique opportunities, but that's just sort of a snapshot of Berks. And just to kind of highlight the campuses in general, as Jordan had mentioned, no matter what you're looking for in your college career, we've got you covered at Penn State. Some of our campuses are big, medium, small. Some are rural, urban, suburban. No matter what you're looking for, we have you covered through our university system. So I always tell students, this has to be a very selfish decision, and that's not a bad thing. You have to know what's important for you and what you need to thrive during your academic journey. But no matter what that is, we have you covered at Penn State through our 20 different campuses within our system. So thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you, James. That was so awesome. Sometimes I learn things I don't know about the campus every single time I do these. So thank you for that. Ben, I'm going to turn this over to you. One of our students asks, are new students accepted into a major? So I'm guessing they're asking a little bit more about the application process, and whenever you apply to Penn State, are you applying directly into a major? How does that work?
Yeah, thanks for that, Jordan. I always, when you apply to put down a first choice campus, a second choice campus as a major. So again, I really encourage students always to do a little bit of research on their second choice. But back to the major, you're going to be in what's called pre-major status. There are a few exceptions to that rule, depending on if you go into a major that's like a direct admit, such as nursing. But you're going to have a couple years to really move in between majors. You're going to have a lot of flexibility. And in fact, I was one of these students at Penn State. 70 colleges nationwide are going to change their major at least once. So the short answer to your question is you will be in what's called pre-major status. And then by the end of your sophomore year, that's when you will go ahead and declare a major. The other thing I want to mention, Troy, I don't think you touched on the Division of Undergraduate Studies, but I'm a huge proponent of this. I think it's a really great option for a lot, and I actually work with a lot of students in honors college. They have a lot of different interests, so they can't really point what area they want to go into, or there's students who have no idea what they want to study. We don't think it's fair to tell a 17 or an 18-year-old that need to know exactly what they want to do once they roll at Penn State. So you can come in undecided. About a third of our first-year students will do that. And then you'll be paired with an academic advisor. You can explore a bunch of different majors. And like Jordan mentioned, I mean, there's 275 different majors at Penn State. So, you're going to arrive on your campus and you're going to discover things that you didn't even know existed yet. So, so you will apply to an academic college, but if you're admitted into Penn State, you can change your major really anytime during your first couple of years.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. That was incredible. Yeah, I didn't talk too much about Division of Undergraduate Studies, but it's definitely really important for students. I know I changed my major at least twice. So students, it's okay if you change your major. Don't regret it or feel scared that you're going to be behind. Don't worry. A lot of people change their major. So to answer the next question here, I'll answer this one. What are you known for academically? That's a great question. So we have lots of different academics available to you. A lot of our academic programs are actually nationally ranked, which is nice. Some of them are pretty notable, are engineering. A lot of our engineering college, many of those majors are actually ranked in the top 10. So we have really, really incredible engineering programs available. I'm trying to think of others specifically. We have our most competitive college is our College of Business. So that one is definitely really sought out for by students. We're also known for nursing. So our College of Nursing and any campus is pretty awesome. They do lots of incredible things there. You have lots of practical work. So a lot of students aren't able to get into like a clinical setting, but at Penn State you are able to, and many of our campuses do have opportunities for you to get that hands-on experience as well. So those are the three that I know well known. I don't know if you guys know any other ones, Ben or James.
Yeah, I'll jump in and just piggyback off of that, Jordan. So, Penn State University, we were founded as an agricultural school. So anything ag related is kind of our backbone, if you will. The last stats that I had heard, our graduates from the College of Agriculture, 98% of graduates have a job offer the beginning of their senior year at Penn State. So again, it really kind of speaks to our background in education, or our background in agriculture, and then transitioning education. Just in terms of being an educator, the state of Pennsylvania has some of the highest credentials nationwide, and therefore that kind of trickles down into many of our programs. We offer programs from elementary ed, secondary ed, all the way up through higher education. So education is another really well-known area at Penn State. Meteorology, Penn State, actually Doppler radar was invented at Penn State. We're really known for meteorology. Again, last stat I had heard, one out of every 4 meteorologists in the country graduated from Penn State. And the last one I'll talk about, just our College of Communications. Donald P. Belisario, College of Communications. And I always mix this up, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but Donald P. Belisario is a Penn State alum, and he was the producer for NCIS, if I'm not mistaken. But we have stellar programs, advertising, public relations, corporate communications, you name it. So Ben, is there anything that you'd like to add that I might have neglected?
Well, that's tough to follow, James. I mean, you had a lot of tremendous information there. But yeah, going back to education, I was a certified Pennsylvania teacher, and in fact, I taught in North Carolina for 1 year. So if you get a teaching degree from Penn State, it has reciprocity with almost every other state in the union. So yeah, just know, I always like to tell students, Penn State's outstanding in everything. The 2 popular ones that we get asked about a lot that are both outstanding at Penn State are, of course, our College of Engineering and our Spiel College of Business. Those are very highly ranked academic colleges as well.
Thank you, guys. This is why I bring them along here. They know so much information, which is awesome. James, I'm going to turn this one over to you. So it looks like we have a question here asking, are Commonwealth students in the same classes as University Park students?
I love this question. Love it. So this is where I think as an institution, Penn State, this really sets us apart. As Jordan mentioned, we are one university geographically dispersed. So I always say, regardless of which campus you go to, you are a Penn State student first and foremost. And therefore you have the same rights, resources, privileges, education, classes, diploma across the board. To specifically answer your question, Josh, yes, if you took an introductory English composition course, whether it's at the University Park campus, my campus, Penn State Berks, Penn State Erie, or Penn State, World Campus online, it is the same course, the same outline, you cover the same topics. In some cases, it's the exact same book. Of course, it differs slightly based off of the instructor and how they're teaching the course, but the class itself is Penn State first and foremost. And even on your transcript, it does not list, this class was taken at this location. Again, build the mindset now. You are a Penn Stater first and foremost. And again, we're one university geographically dispersed. Really good question.
Thank you so much. I know sometimes it's hard to think about because there's so many different campuses, but we all work together. We all hang out together, those of us that are in the office. So we're definitely all great friends too across our campuses. So, and as you could tell, we were chatting a little bit here before that. So Ben, I'm going to turn this to you. I know you talked a little bit about the Schreier Honors College, but I want you to talk a little bit more about the application process and what students will be doing for the application, what you're looking for in the application process.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jordan. So yeah, I know I gave you like a real quick overview of the application, but just to go into a little bit more detail, of course, the basics, we are on the Common application, the Coalition application, and the My Penn State app. So again, when you go to access the Penn State University application, you can access the Schreier Honors College again within those 3 platforms. The other thing I want to mention is for all of you out there who are contemplating applying to the Honors College, we don't have an application fee. So you only have to pay the one-time Penn State application fee. But, a couple things, of course, you're going to have to respond to some essay questions. So we do a holistic review. So those essay responses are actually, or those essay questions are on our website for you to view. So you can get started on them this afternoon if you would like. I always recommend setting up a separate Word document and working on them offline, just in case something, there's a technical issue. But The 5 short answer questions, they're pretty straightforward. It's going to ask you about a book that you've read, your extracurricular involvement throughout high school, pretty basic things like that. Now, the 3 long essay questions, they are developed with the input of some faculty and staff across our university. They are really going to challenge you to think outside the box, but, have fun with these essay responses because, they are a little bit unique. And we actually pull the questions from the Common App and the Coalition app. So we don't duplicate them here in the Honors College. So they are unique to our application specifically, but really hone in on these essay responses because we have a very competitive application process. Most students who apply are right there academically. So these essay responses go a long way in determining, our decisions. Now, having said that, you, again, will have to submit 2 letters of recommendation, but you can submit up to 4. I usually recommend 1 letter be from a teacher or someone who can talk about your academic abilities within the classroom. And then the academic review, like I said before, we don't have a minimum GPA. That self-reported academic record that Jordan talked about a few minutes ago, you don't have to fill that out again for the Honors College. We will use self-reported academic record that you use when you apply to Penn State, when we do our academic review. And then you can do what's called an optional interview. I didn't talk about this earlier, but if you apply by November 1st, by the way, Penn State's early action deadline is November 15th, but in the Honors College, our priority deadline is remaining at November 1st because we are doing the optional interview program. We have Schreier Honors College alumni all over the country who are really eager to meet you and share their story with you. And it's also your chance to learn more about the Honors College from an alumni perspective. So if you want to do the interview, great, but it's 100% optional. But it can add to your application. We will look at that feedback when we go to review you. But all that information combined is how we make our decisions. Faculty and staff, and I actually think James has read some Schreier Honors College applications in the past for us. So yeah, he's one of our reviewers and we thank him for that. Yeah, we have mostly faculty and some staff across our university who will read those essay responses, the letters of recommendation, and myself and the members of our team, we do the academic reviews. So it's a subjective process, but something we are very confident in. I know I'm going a little bit long here, but one other thing I really want to emphasize is our final application deadline is December 4th. So you have some time to submit the Schreier Honors College application, but if you're admitted into Penn State, regardless of what we say here in the Honors College, we still really, really want you to enroll. If you're admitted, that's awesome. You have until May 1st to make that final decision. But if you're not admitted right out of high school, please do not get discouraged because you can apply to the Honors College as a continuing student after your first or your second year. And again, just to reiterate, you can be a scholar at any one of our locations. I know James could probably tell you, I'm sure he knows a few scholars on his campus. So, but again, if you have any questions about the Schreier Honors College or the application process, my email is b as in Ben, CARR at psu.edu.
Thank you for that, Ben. I know people really appreciate getting more information about Schreier, so I appreciate that. James, I'm going to turn this question over to you. So similar, and we're going to go off of what we just did with Ben there, the Penn State general application. So how do we apply for a campus? Is there an additional fee with that? How does the application work at Penn State?
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Really good question, Josh. So again, keeping that same mindset, one university. There's one application to Penn State, regardless of which campus or campuses you're interested in. Within that one application, you'll pick a primary choice starting campus. You'll pick an alternative choice starting campus. You'll pick what major you'd like to study. And then based off of that major, you'll also pick an ending campus or where you'd like to finish at Penn State. So again, one application and one, to specifically answer your question, Josh, one fee university-wide. And based off of how you answer those questions is how we as the university will review you. So if you would put University Park as your primary choice starting campus location, Berks as your alternative choice starting campus location, when you submit your application is funneled to and only to University Park's admissions office to be evaluated. If you're admitted, congratulations, you're in, end of the road, way to go. If not, then and only then would your application be deferred to that alternative choice starting campus location. So in your app, you pick 2 campuses and we evaluate you based off of those, the preferences that you list. Specifically, if I can jump in with that application fee, So for many of the campuses outside of University Park, I know us at Berks, we're an example. If you attend an event with us, in many cases, we'll go in and waive that application fee for you. So I think it's a really good promotional reason to check out campuses across the state. Even for that fee piece alone, it's good to find out more information about the other campuses. And I'm happy to share that this upcoming Saturday, we are hosting a virtual open house at Penn State Berks. So feel free to join us this Saturday morning. It's going to include a virtual tour of campus. We have a faculty member who's going to be presenting, and you'll also hear from me again. So what else would you rather be doing on a Saturday morning? But feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. And thank you, Josh.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know it can be confusing, y'all. So if you do have questions, hopefully we can get you all our emails as well, and you can email any one of us, and we are happy to help walk you through some of that because it can get confusing. Ben, I am going to turn this question over to you. Tuition, I'm going to say this wrong, reciprocity with other states. Are you able to help with that and kind of clarify some information there?
Yeah, that's a great question, Josh. I think I know what you're asking. So if you are an out-of-state student, no matter where you're located, you will have to pay out-of-state tuition because, for tuition purposes, our first priority is to students in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, since we are a taxpayer-funded university from Pennsylvania residents. So the chart that Jordan just showed you, that's going to kind of be a snapshot. But again, that's just for estimation purposes. By no means am I a financial aid expert at all. I don't claim to be. So if you have any questions about tuition or student aid, we always recommend that students reach out directly to our Office of Student Aid. So I hope that answers your question, Josh.
Yeah, sorry if we didn't understand that question. You can clarify in the Q&A here. Y'all are asking super awesome questions. We have about like 5 to 6 minutes left. So if you wanted to jump in the Q&A and get your questions answered, that would be awesome. But I'm going to turn this one over to James. James, this is a fun question. What activities do you have on your campus, or what are your students doing outside of the classroom?
Awesome. So yeah, Jordan shared there's a ton to do outside of the classroom university-wide, specifically at our campus, Penn State Berks. So there's over 55 clubs and organizations in terms of athletics. So Berks is a Division III campus. All of the 5 medium-sized campuses are all Division III in regards to athletics, varsity athletics. So we have a number of different academic programs, men and women's soccer, baseball, softball, men and women's basketball. There's many others, but just highlighting a few, there are 12 club sports as well. Some unique ones for us at Berks include men's rugby, women's equestrian, and we have men's Division I club ice hockey. It's a mouthful. Need to make sure I get that right. So again, some unique opportunities there. Just, university-wide, just like the rest of the university, a ton of other organizations. We have, student government, our campus activities board. They plan the events going on campus. Actually, just a week ago, I recently became the advisor to the bowling club. So I have a lot to learn about bowling, but I'm excited to go on this journey with them over the next year. But I mean, there's a Quidditch club. If any Harry Potter fans out there, there's so much for you to do and get involved with outside of the classroom. And I truly am a huge advocate for that. This experience is academic, but you're also learning outside of the classroom through different clubs, organizations, sporting teams. It's a great way to really become completely well-rounded. And you can also use those experiences in terms of looking for internships and job placement in the future. So great question.
James, I'm going to turn this one back to you. Does Penn State have cheerleading, club cheerleading, or any type of cheerleading?
Yes.
Or Berks in general?
Yes, we do. Yeah, I know University Park's Division I varsity cheerleading. At Berks, it is Division III club cheerleading. So we do offer that at Penn State Berks as well. And I would imagine that many of the campuses, if not all, have a cheerleading team to some extent. I know even one of our colleagues at Penn State, Schuylkill, she's the advisor for the cheerleading club. So yeah, I'm sure that that's an opportunity university-wide, if not at every campus, at most of our campus locations. Good question.
Another cool thing too about all of our campuses, y'all, is we have the opportunity for you to create your own club and organization. So if you are a Penn State student and you are interested in creating, I mean, we have something as simple as the Avocado Appreciation Club. I don't know if y'all appreciate avocados. I know I do. So if you wanted to join that club, it was basically a bunch of students that I guess appreciated avocados a lot, and they got together and they created their own club and organization. So opportunities for you to do that there. I know a couple of students were interested in talking about just athletics in general and how do you get involved in athletics? How do you go to the games, stuff like that. So Penn State University Park is Division I athletics. So those are our varsity teams. There are over, I think, 31 different teams, varsity teams on University Park's campus. And basically those are either recruitment based or they are walk-on based. So you would be able to try out for some of those teams. So if you were interested in that, you could do that. But if you're just interested in going to the games, I know a lot of us here, colleagues like to go to the football games, the basketball games. I don't know about wrestling. I haven't been to a wrestling match yet, but I'm sure some people in our office have. But lots of different opportunities for students to engage in some of these events. Obviously, now they're not happening in person, but we're looking forward and hopeful that we are going to be able to be present at some of these games. But what's really nice is a lot of our students get discounted tickets. So if you are interested, and this is university-wide, so if you're interested, if you're from Penn State Berks and you're just driving up to University Park to meet some friends, and it's a Saturday afternoon, you got nothing to do and you want to attend a basketball game, luckily, since you're a Penn State student, you have access to those Penn State tickets. So you can purchase a ticket either through what we call our ticket exchange, or you can walk up to Will Call. Again, lots of fancy names here, but basically it's just where you can purchase tickets and attend the games and enjoy yourself. You are Penn State students, so we want you to enjoy yourselves here. It looks like we're winding down, so I'm gonna ask one final question for each of our panelists here. Why did you choose Penn State? Ben, you can start, or James, whoever wants to, I don't care.
Well, I wanted to attend Penn State ever since I was, a little kid. And in fact, many of my family members graduated from Penn State. A lot of them are here from the State College area. So it was like the only school I applied to. So I grew up watching Penn State football. So it was always a dream of mine to attend Penn State. And now it's absolutely a dream come true to be working for my alma mater and representing the Honors College. So I hope to stay for a while, but, as James said, his life revolves around Penn State. I feel like mine does too, but I wouldn't want it any other way. So, and by the way, I did the 2+2 plan. I know James talked a lot about that throughout today's presentation. I started at the Altoona campus, and I just want to say I had a wonderful experience. I made some lifelong friends. And then I did finish at the university location. But for those of you out there who are unsure about maybe starting at a large campus, I can say from experience that the 2+2 plan was one of the best decisions I think I ever made.
Thank you, Ben. And for me, just to tie it up really quickly, I'm kind of I'll say the opposite end in that I kind of fell into Penn State last minute. I am, from Pennsylvania and was actually looking to go further away to a school in Virginia. And I fell into Penn State my senior year. And this has truly been the best thing that has happened to me. Going from, just visiting and falling in love to my life revolving around this school. So it has been a truly life-changing experience to have attended Penn State, to speak about Penn State. And then just really quickly as a final announcement, I always share with students, I was a first-generation college student, and this process of picking schools, visiting, applying was very intimidating and maybe even terrifying. And I always tell students, you should not go through this process alone. That's why Ben, myself, Jordan, that's why we're here to help you and to work with you. So please keep in touch early and often. And we are here as a support system for you through this process. So thank you, and I'll pass it off to Jordan.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. We really appreciated your time here. We are wrapping it up. So if you do have extra questions, feel free to email admissions@psu.edu. But I'm going to turn it over to our colleagues at StriveScan to close this out.
Well, thank you all for what an awesome presentation. Students, thank you so much for joining us today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at CACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at CACRAO.org. Thank you so much.